So yesterday was the big DC Fandome event with many reveals and trailers, which has made fans very excited on the movie side of things. We got our first teaser for The Batman 2021, a trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League, a new Wonder Woman 1984 trailer, and much more. I'm going to be breaking down everything we saw and giving you my overall thoughts towards it. Many of the trailers and footage I talk about in this video will also be able to watch on Warner Bros. YouTube channel, so if you want to check it out before hearing my perspective, then I'd recommend doing so. Before I get into it though, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest news and reveals on many of the films I cover in this upload, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoy this video, remember to give it a like rating. Without further ado, let's get into all of the reveals from DC Fandome. So the first trailer we got from the DC panels was the new look at Wonder Woman 1984. This trailer was vibrant as expected, with fantastic costume design that director Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot stressed at the panel. We got more hints towards how Chris Pine's Steve Trevor has come back from the dead through Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord, along with some extended looks at the action scenes in Washington DC and some cool glimpses at flashbacks which include a young Diana Prince and a return for Hippolyta. The thing that stood out for me in this new trailer was the look at Cheetah and her final form. Now, I and a lot of people were worried about how they would approach the look of the character, and I was personally hoping for a more practical design. But I can't lie in saying that I was actually impressed with the look of the CGI, considering that they are still working on the look of her character. In a brief fight scene with Diana, who is in her famous golden armour, Cheetah looks fierce and more monstrous than I expected. If they work on adjusting the CGI slightly, I think this final design will look great come the finished cut of the film. But overall, I'm interested to see what they do with her character alongside the return of Steve Trevor, where he appears during scenes in the Invisible Jet, and of course the explanation we get towards his return. I'm sure it will link him well to the story and come across as an important motif for what happens in this newest Wonder Woman film. Moving on to The Flash, we got some brief early looks at what they are potentially cooking up for the film, which will include an appearance of Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck's Batman. This includes some early concept art of the new Flash suit, which looks more sleek and electric than the original design from Justice League, and a great concept art with Keaton's Batman and the Flash standing together. After all the waiting for this film to get underway, it looks like they are including some interesting ideas that hopefully director Andy Muschietti can pull off. Obviously, the DC multiverse will be kicked off with the Flash film, and I'm looking to see if they can also keep the original approach that they've been doing with other films more recently. This has worked brilliantly for DC over the last few years, and I guess only time will tell. We then got a look at the Suicide Squad film directed by James Gunn. Now, I wasn't originally sold on this idea after my disappointment with The Last Interpretation a few years ago, but shockingly, the behind-the-scenes footage that they showed at DC Fandome was actually pretty exciting. We got full cast reveals which include Idris Elba as Bloodsport, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, John Cena as Peacemaker, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, and a whole set of new cast members and characters. The main takeaway is that it feels and it was described as a 70s war film with James Gunn's typical humour and Guardians of the Galaxy approach. Out of all of the Marvel films, Guardians was actually one of the projects that I found their traditional humour and character building actually worked in. So having that in a Suicide Squad film alongside a darker war approach to the characters has definitely grabbed my attention. It was also great to see Harley's new red costume, which seems to fit the tone of the movie pretty well. We'll have to see what happens here, but the behind the scenes footage has me wanting to see more from the project in the near future. But one of the main trailers that people were looking forward to was the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Zack Snyder revealed that the project is to be released on HBO Max in 4 parts, and then later released as a full 4-hour film. Each part of the film will be 1 hour in length and will apparently work in both frameworks. However, in this extended teaser, we got a full look at Darkseid. Now, the CGI is obviously unfinished, but it's great to finally get a look at him. You can definitely see some consistency between his look and also what they are aiming for with Desaad and the new version of Steppenwolf, who I must say looks a lot more cleaner and appealing to look at than what we got in the theatrical version. I'm excited to see how he integrates Darkseid, as originally he was supposed to be giving a bigger presence in the planned sequel to the original Justice League. Other than this, Snyder stressed that Cyborg is going to be the heart of the story, and the trailer made that very clear with a focus on him watching his own father die. We also got individual looks at each of the Justice League, including Superman's black suit, some time manipulating abilities by the Flash, more shots of Amy Adams as Lois and Diane Lane as Martha, and a final shot of them all together. It does look a lot better than the theatrical version, but I do want to see more in regards to how Snyder approaches the story in the later footage we get. The last thing that was pointed out, which I found to be very interesting, was that the aspect ratio for the film is apparently giving the full sense of the cinematography shot in 2016. This includes a screen size of 1.661, which is in stark contrast to the anamorphic widescreen of most blockbuster releases. Snyder has said that he hopes to release his cut in this unique aspect ratio and how it doesn't miss out any of the filmed detail. When it comes to Black Adam, we also got a brief look at a lot of cool concept art, including some new information that the Justice Society will be appearing in the film. They showed the official logo for the project and talked about how it would be unlike any superhero movie in the DC universe, especially when tackling an anti-hero like Black Adam. It does seem like they are following the traditional arc of the character very tightly, but based on the concept art, it definitely looks like it's going to be a vibrant and also a portrayal of grandeur. I'm interested to see what The Rock does, even though he's not necessarily my favourite actor, but this small panel did pique my interest and I will for sure check it out when we get more looks and information surrounding the film. There wasn't much on the Aquaman side of things, but James Wan and Patrick Wilson did focus on discussing their enjoyment of working on the first film and how they're excited to film the sequel coming out in 2022. James Wan teases that Aquaman 2 will be a more serious and relevant film to the modern world, with Ocean Master also confirmed to return. When it comes to Shazam, we also got a smaller panel at the event where the cast talked about certain things from the first film, and with the sequel still a while away, this is understandable. However, they did reveal the title of the film, which is now known as Shazam: Fury of the Gods, and it is slated for release on November the 4th, 2022. But regardless of them being smaller panels, it was great to see all of the variety, and when looking at DC's upcoming slate, it looks to be a packed ride full of many different visions. But now we come to the main event with Matt Reeves' The Batman. This was, in my opinion, an absolutely brilliant first tease, considering Matt Reeves revealed that they've only shot 25% of the movie. The footage was incredibly dark, haunting, yet presented as a visceral psychological thriller with elements from a murder mystery. We are obviously focusing on a Year 2 Batman who is flawed as a human being and trying to put together the murders of Paul Dano's The Riddler. We do get a brief look at the Riddler and his voice from some of the footage too. At the 1 minute 28 mark of the trailer, what appears to be the Riddler asks Batman what could be a possible plot point in the film. He poses the question, what is the price of your blind eye? The blind eye, I think, is the idea from the phrase, I got an eye in the back of my head, but obviously the audience doesn't. So I think one plot point of the film is what is the price for an assassination and how all the characters around the murder deal with that issue. That's why you see shots of Batman mentally frustrated in what looks to be the jail cells of GCPD. This is just speculation, but Reeves looks to be taking a deep psychological approach with the characters in the form of David Fincher's Seven. Matt Reeves also said that Dano's Riddler will blow people away, and considering how much I love his performance in Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners, I'm very excited to see more of his character. We also got a different take on Catwoman, whose visual appearance seems to be in its very early stages, like a lot of characters and suits in the trailer. There's a shot of her attacking Batman in this costume, so it looks like we are getting her early connection with Bruce. Commissioner Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright, also looks brilliant, and Colin Farrell as the Penguin was unrecognisable. It was only until after I saw the trailer that I actually realised it was him. But the thing that stood out the most for me in this first look was Robert Pattinson's portrayal of the famous vigilante. He looks fantastic, and in my opinion this has completely shut down the early hate that he was getting after the casting announcement a few months ago. There's a rememberable and brutal fight scene as he beats down one of the thugs with white face paint and says, "I'm vengeance." It was a powerful and great spin on the I'm Batman line, and to see a person being portrayed as damaged as Pattinson is presenting him gets me very excited for the final product. Reeves stressed that we are getting inside of his head and understanding the feelings that he has to deal with, which is fully on show in this footage. There was also glimpses of the new Batmobile firing up and pummeling through a brick wall, the Batcave in what again appears to be a construction process for Bruce Wayne, alongside some very striking and grimy looking cinematography, which creates further excitement for June 2020, with both films being shot by Greg Fraser. To summarise, I thought it was a great first teaser that underlines the detective approach and character-based journey we are about to embark on. But they were all the reveals from the DC Fandome event alongside my opinions towards them. I thought this event was a great collection of everything that fans wanted from the upcoming slate of DC films, and they also put on just a great mixture of different mediums. We had exciting trailers, artwork, and details on the movie side of things, multiple extended looks at the games such as Gotham Knights and Rocksteady's Suicide Squad game, and overall just some great appearances and discussions at the event. I'm guessing they will be doing this every year after the success of this event, but we'll just have to see. But let me know down below what your reaction was to all of the new footage and trailers at DC Fandome, and whether you're excited for any of the upcoming projects they have on the Warner Brothers slate. For more videos surrounding films like The Batman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and more over the course of the next year, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a like rating. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.